my goodness. Yay. Hi, besties. Hello, Sapph-Litties. How are we today? We are here with Jill Gutowitz. Welcome. Say hi in the chat.
Hi
We're going to let
guys.
people trickle in and then, oh, Shelby, you're my favorite. I'm sorry, but Shelby, you always bring all the enthusiasm and I love you so much. Okay, so Jill, welcome to Sapph-Lit. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I can't believe there is a book club called Sapph-Lit. It's like exactly like had I known about it earlier, I would have joined myself.
Well, you are welcome to join us anytime. So just gonna do a quick intro on you to the community. So Jill Gutowitz is a writer, director, and author living in Los Angeles. Her work has been featured in The New Yorker, Time, Vanity Fair, Vulture, Elle, Glamour, Cosmopolitan, Vice, and elsewhere. Her debut book of essays, Girls Can Kiss Now, is available now via Atria Books and was our April nonfiction pick for Sapph-Lit. Her first short film and directorial debut, titled The Ladies, is coming soon. Welcome, Jill. Thank you so much again.
Yay, thank you. That was such a nice intro.
I mean, it's copy and pasted straight from your website. So like, I'm
Okay,
sure
well, that's good
something
then.
to do with it. But first question, tell us about The Ladies. What is this? Where is it coming from? Where is it going?
Yeah, well, so it's funny, like my entire career has kind of been about like nonfiction writing and like writing for like women's magazines and writing about film and TV. And, ironically, like what I really want to do and like move into is actually writing film and TV. So, and I've like done a little bit. I wrote on a show a couple years ago but this is like my first thing that I've really gotten to write myself and make myself. And it was so fun. It's very gay. It's like about a like 20 something lesbian who is like moves into her grandma's senior living community in Florida and like has a like affair that kind of like blows up the the community.
God.
Yeah, but yeah.
So that sounds like everything that like the MILFdom that you talk about like needs to survive. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm like, one of my friends, Christina Tucker, who like she works at Autostraddle, and we talk about this all the time. We're just like, we need more MILF canon movies. There's like even I don't want to say this, but like even straight ones, like there's just like not enough. There just needs to be more mommy content, in my opinion.
I fully agree. And thank you for trailblazing this agenda because I fully support it. Amazing. Well, please keep us posted on The Ladies and when it comes out, because that will be shared far and wide across the Sapph-Lit universe, I'm sure.
Thank you.
But I also want to ask, this is your debut. First of all, congratulations. How has
Thank
the
you.
publishing experience been for you?
It's crazy. It's really surreal. It's like, I mean, the publishing a book is such like a weird experience for, an infinite amount of reasons, but some of which is that like I wrote so much of it what feels like so long ago. So by the time it comes out, it's like I almost feel, I feel like people ask me a lot of questions like, were you nervous? Are you excited? And it was like, by the time it was coming out, I was kind of like, I had spent so much time processing that like I would be like, I had already like released it, emotionally. I was like, everyone will read these thoughts I had. They may be embarrassing. And that's like, I had already processed it. So it's like this process that like takes so long. So like by the time it came out, it was really weird and surreal to like finally hold it in my hands and see it in a bookstore and like see people talk about it, because it's like it had been a part of my life for so long already. Yeah.
That's interesting that it's taken so much time to, create this thing that people think it's kind of like, oh, this just happened. This is a recent thing for you.
Yeah.
But I know that since you're talking about pop culture and, recent modern history, I'd love to know, when writing the book, did you decide on a piece of media first and go from there? Or did you lay out the topics you wanted to cover and pick out specific queer moments in history to associate with those topics? How did you go about the writing and planning process?
So my book had like an interesting timeline because I sold the book, like I got the book deal in February 2020 with the intention to start writing in March 2020, and then the world changed. And so it's like I basically like started writing like a month later when my editor and I like checked in. He was like, we should probably start, and I was like, yeah, I guess I have to write the book now. But like, so a lot of the stuff that was like, you know, promised in the book proposal, I would say like more than half of it is like didn't make it, because I think that like I started really writing in a different way when the pandemic happened, and I was just like feeling darker, you know, thinking more profound thoughts, maybe. I don't know. I just like felt, you know, very like affected and vulnerable, and like I kind of just leaned into it and, you know, started to write about more personal stuff than I guess I had even planned to. So it's like some of this stuff, like I knew the chapter that's about like Lindsay Lohan and Samantha Ronson and the Perez Hilton of it all. That was one of the only chapters that I like knew that I wanted to write, and that was like in my book proposal. And I knew I wanted to talk about, because it was like, I mean, Lindsay and Samantha was like a huge moment for me, and like the Perez Hilton stuff really affected me. But even in that chapter, like the section that I wrote about like Taylor Swift and like oh no, am I evil too, you know, that stuff actually like came much later.
Yeah.
And I kind of like saw the relation there, and I was like, there's no way for me to not bring this into this chapter. Yeah, but like some of this stuff was so it was like, I can't believe I hadn't planned on writing about it. Like the section I wrote about Bring It On,
Yeah.
I did not plan on writing about Bring It On, and but I feel like that comment, the Uberdyke comment, has like haunted me for so long, even though now Uberdyke is like a compliment. Like I would love to be called that. Yeah. Would love to call someone that and be called that. But like, yeah, those kind of moments like for sure haunted me back then. Sorry, now I am on a tangent, but
We love a tangent.
yeah. So I would say like, you know, a lot of the stuff that feels more personal, like the last chapter, The Beast,
Yeah.
the Clueless at Chateau Marmont chapter, tangents are queer canon. That's very true. Talking too much because you're nervous is gay. Yeah, but yeah, like those chapters came later, and I'm really glad that I did write them though, because those are kind of those ones, and the what is it, Crush Me at the Forum, like those are kind of my favorite ones. And yeah, they were not planned.
Yeah. And it makes it so much more personal to you as well. Like you really poured so much of yourself into this work, and that's so evident. And
Yeah.
I'm curious, you're mentioning that like a lot didn't make it from the book proposal. And then I'm sure so much has happened in the world, in pop culture, that you potentially would want to include in like a revised version. If there's anything from that original book proposal or anything from recent pop culture moments that you would want to include, what would they be?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like, you know, I feel like this is kind of a sad answer, but I feel like there hasn't been like that much queer content that has like been amazing or really affected me since like in the last year, which sucks, and I hate that.
We need
so,
more.
it's like I don't even like, there's not like, you know, a super cut of things that are coming to mind. Like I know that I love Euphoria, like I feel like I could write a lot about. I really loved The Sex Lives of College Girls, but it's like I love that show, but it's like I don't even know what I have to say about it. I just really liked it. No notes, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like stuff from the book like proposal and all that process that I know that I did have a chapter that was like specifically designated to Taylor Swift and like my dedication and fandom for her like over the years. Like I think like tracing my love for her over the years, but it didn't make it, or I never really wrote the whole thing, and I think that it came out in better ways, you know, like more maybe like personal and analytical ways than it would have like that.
No, we definitely got your Taylor Swift love in the book. And
Yeah,
I
good.
so appreciate that because I mean, folklore really reignited my love for Taylor Swift and made me, re-examine
Yeah,
the internalized misogyny that I had towards her, like many other people over the
yeah.
years. And I went to NYU, and this year NYU offered a course specifically about Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift music. And she's also the commencement speaker for this year's graduation. And I'm just really upset that
That
I'm not there.
yeah, that is really hurtful. That feels like they're attacking you.
No, it's very targeted. It's biphobic. It's homophobic. It's
Yeah,
sexist. I
it
just
is.
feel so attacked. But anyways, I publicly came out as bisexual at 22 during Pride Month because I love attention and being cheesy. And I know you came out around the same age. And I
Yeah.
found it much more common for women to quote unquote come out later in life than men. And I have my own theories on why that is, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of things. I think there's this like I think assumption or like I don't know if I would call it a trope or something amongst like gay men that it's like when you're 3. I
Yeah.
was 3 and I was putting on my mom's shoes or whatever and it's like and I knew and I feel like for me I feel like I didn't know that lesbians were real. Like I just like all I knew was like, oh well, like queer women are like Ellen DeGeneres. And as somebody who I mean, like now I feel a lot more like down the middle, I would say, like gender wise, but like at the time I was like way more femme presenting, and I was just like I just like didn't know that you could be gay and femme, and I didn't have any like people at school that were gay. I didn't like like I mean this is the whole premise of the book, but like see anyone on TV that was gay. Like I
Yeah.
simply didn't know. And I think that because they're like the only thing I knew about being gay was like, well, when you're like 3 years old. And I wasn't like thirsting at 3 years old for hot mommies
Yeah.
yet. And so yeah, I don't know. I think so much of it had to do with my own like internalized homophobia and like overcoming a lot of that. I don't know. I also feel like I don't know. I think that I feel like I've seen so much amongst women that like sexuality can be so much more fluid, whereas like even with like queer men and like representation for like bisexual men in TV and film, it's like you just like you don't see it as much. And I don't think that's because it doesn't exist. I think it's because there is like this like binary that we need to like let go of. I don't know, another tangent about it, but I think yeah, I don't know. I think that for women it's like there's like different kinds of homophobia. It's like for gay men it's like so much of it is like it can be like violent and about like how bad it is to be like a femme presenting man. And like I don't know, and for women I feel like the like most present kind of homophobia that I have seen or witnessed is just more like erasure. Like, oh, this is a phase. Oh, this isn't real. You don't like your relationship with a woman isn't real. So it's like not so much. It's like believing that it doesn't exist. And I think that's like a lot of like gaslighting that leads us to be like, well, yeah, it's probably not real then, and I can just probably find a guy that I like at some point down the line. That's how I felt, at least.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speak for everyone, but
Yeah, no, I think the erasure part is definitely something super unique to Sapphic people. And it's also, I think, the way that you were saying that men who present more femme are kind of instantly targeted with that homophobic behavior. Women who are, lean more masculine, it's just like, oh, she's a tomboy, like at a young age specifically.
yeah.
which, you know, plays into that erasure part, for sure. But
Yeah.
speaking of internalized homophobia, I was thinking about questions to ask you today, and I came up with this like very long like theory thing. So just like stick with me here. I'm gonna
Okay.
read, and if you don't understand, that's okay. We're gonna work through it together because I'm still kind of processing. But for me, there's a massive parallel between what you call the yearn cage and MILF culture.
Mm.
So the idea that queers love to suffer.
Mhm.
And the desire for suffering, whether it's through yearning in silence or very vocally wanting to be stepped on by Gillian Anderson, you say is partially fueled by this internalized homophobia and shame, aside from our collective societal inability to express genuine vulnerability. So MILFdom is arguably a healthy expression of that shame as it vocalizes desire, albeit through violence and towards inaccessible queer icons.
Mhm.
While yearning suppresses desire as queer women stay silently pining after friends and lovers that they want most. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this connection between the two. The idea that desire is only attainable, the idea that desire is only acceptable when it is unattainable, like your friend watching the Britney Spears music video, because you know there's no chance that she was ever going to be able to eat Britney Spears out. So expressing desire may have felt more safe for her.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not expressing desire in a productive way that ends in kind of like a fruitful love interest. So what the fuck is wrong with us? How do we toe the line between playing into these stereotypes and expressing our queerness? And I'd also love to hear your thoughts on how women loving women crush culture plays into this. Like the idea, do I want to be her? Do I want to be with her? So that was really long.
Yeah.
But
No, I see where you're
like
going.
swimming in my head, and I love your thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's like it's funny. It's like I feel like those two things, the two sides of things, the like screaming about wanting to be murdered by Gillian Anderson and not talking to the girl at the party that you want to talk to. Like I feel it's funny because it's like you ask how they're connected, but it's like they are disconnected, like inherently, which
Mm,
I think like both of them have value in that like my girlfriend makes fun of me all the time because like I am this way online, but like I'm not necessarily like this in real life. Like I'm very, very horny online. And but I think, you know, and I think there's like value in queer women getting to like express desire in this way that they maybe like never have been able to. And I think that's, you know, that's why it comes out in the form of aggression. And you know, so I think like that's good, especially like, you know, there's like obviously a huge community of like closeted teens and or like anyone who's closeted who like maybe has like a, you know, anonymous account that they are still getting to like talk this way. And I feel old now, but like I didn't, you know, until like Twitter and Tumblr were around, like I definitely didn't have that uh ability to like express myself at all. So it was like any gay thought I might have had would have truly just stayed in my mind. Like I
yeah.
had no one to talk to about it at all, nor would I want to because I was so scared. So it's like, even though that is kind of like that whole thing is like kind of divorced from like reality and like how you behave in real life, it's like it's still, you know, it still has value, I think. And I think it's not it's not harmful. Keep doing it. But yeah, I think like, you know, something I tried to like write about in the book is like not necessarily taking that and making it real, but that like we have to, as sapphics, like learn how to like stop, I think, glorifying the suffering.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, for me at least, like so much of the like media I've consumed about like queerness is about like, you know, two women who can never be together and one of them like dies at the end
Yeah.
and it's horrible. And it's like, and it's, but like some of the movies are great and hot and like, you know, so it's like you come to like glorify this and like put this idea of this like terrifying relationship and like the homophobia and like the we can't be together and you and you like put it on this pedestal of like, well, that's like hot. and that's what I want. And I think that like, especially when I first came out, like the first few years that I was like dating women, like I definitely went after the stuff that was like not attainable, or like, you know, like somebody who was like straight and not interested in me at all, or like, you know, like like those are the kinds of things I think I went for, because I was like, well, it's supposed to feel like this. Like I'm supposed to yearn, and my desires are wrong. So if they never get fulfilled, then they never get fulfilled. And all of that is wrong and sucks. And you know, I think it took me a long time to like I don't know, like grow into myself and realize that like I should be pursuing relationships that are fulfilling and make me happy, and is with a person that like really wants to be with me and is excited to be, you know. So like yeah. Wait, there was a third part of your question.
Oh, the crush culture part. Like, do I want to be her, be with her?
Yeah, I would say in my experience, it is almost always be with, but I feel like when I was first starting to like deal with my queerness, I was like, no, like that's just like kind of the look that I want. And now I'm like, I am just, I think, more open about what I find like the what I find hot has spread, has become more vast. So now I'm just like, every time I see somebody that I'm like, whoa, cool, I'm just like, yeah, I would. Yeah.
No, that's not pinning down your like, I want to be like that person.
Yeah.
Enough.
Like, why not both?
That's fair. Okay, amazing. Thank you for helping me break down that question.
Of course.
So my best friend came up with this question and I love it. If you could curate a syllabus / must consume media list for your questioning in the closet teen self, what would you include? And it can be from like any, like even after you're like that.
Wait, from questioning my
like
closeted teen self?
Yeah, like when you were in the closet as a teen and you want to put together a syllabus of queer shit for your baby gay self to watch, what would you put in that syllabus?
I'm so bad at hypotheticals because I'm like, okay, so can I watch stuff that's around today, or can I? I can. Okay. I'm like, what are the rules of this basic question? Euphoria, maybe.
I still haven't seen Euphoria.
Really?
Or the other show that you mentioned, the
Sex Lives of College Girls.
Yeah, I'm adding that to my actual week syllabus.
Okay, good. Well, those are like just top of mind for me, I feel like, because those are like the two queer shows that I like really liked this year so far. But I mean, like Disobedience, I think I'm almost like, maybe that's too much too soon, because I think if like teenage closeted me saw that, it's like so hot and so fucked up and so much spitting in mouth that I think I would have been like, wait, what?
Like, I'm scared.
So maybe, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Again, looking too deep into the hypothetical here, but Carol's like a classic for me.
Yeah. I also haven't seen Disobedience, and I also haven't seen Carol. I feel like a bad gay. Oh my God, Veronica loves Carol.
Yeah, Carol.
Vibes. Love.
I will say, I'll add also, The Kids Are All Right, I feel like is one of my favorite gay movies. I love Lisa Cholodenko.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so in the book, there's an essay where you talk about a pop star. It's Ariana Grande, right? Like yeah.
We'll not confirm nor deny.
Love. But speaking of Ariana Grande, not confirming or denying, this question doesn't have to do with her specifically, but I'd love to get your thoughts on labeling sexuality versus embracing fluidity. The queer community says, you know, everything's a little gay and sexuality is a spectrum, but, you know, in the same breath, sometimes criticize Harry Styles, Ariana Grande for refusing to come out like and definitively label their sexual orientation while still using queer imagery in their artistic expression. Ultimately, I don't think individual people can queer bait. It's more content specific for me and what queer individuals make of it, like Taylor Swift with Folklore, for example. But can you share your thoughts on the queer baiting discourse?
Yeah, totally. This has actually been so top of mind for me. I don't know why, but I feel like I am like obsessing over the Harry Styles stuff lately, and I haven't even talked to anyone about it. So I'm really like, okay, let's fucking go.
Let's
Uh,
talk.
uh, I yeah, I tend to agree with you that like I don't think like a person can queer bait so much as like the content can. And I'm always like loath to like say that people like have to say explicitly like what they are and what their label is. I like would never, you know, promote that. But something I have been thinking about a lot, like with the Harry Styles stuff, and it's not just him. And I think there's like, you know, so I feel like there's been a lot of celebrities kind of talking like this lately. That like it's not it's I don't have an issue with like, you know, not putting a label on anything. And like I like his messaging about like, you know, where I want to be headed is a place where we don't have to put labels on anything. And like, you know, people don't have to like come out.
Yeah.
Love that, agree. But I feel like there has still been this like shroud of like secrecy around the gay parts of it, you know, where like, you know, I don't think that Harry or any celebrity or Ariana should like have to like say I'm bisexual. But like if you are explicitly never going to be seen with queer people or like talk about that part of it, I feel like it like creates this kind of like almost like old school gay shame about like, well, yeah, that stuff doesn't have to be talked about. And like, you know, and like for me, like as somebody who is like loudly gay, it's like, you know, it took me a lot to it took me a lot of time to like feel proud, and now I am so proud and I would not want it any other way. So I think that like sometimes I worry that that kind of stuff has an effect on like, you know, teen fans and whatever. That it's like, yeah, well, I don't have to label myself, but that also means like that I explicitly don't talk about any of the queer stuff in my life. And I think that like can be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if Harry Styles, I know he's like dating Olivia Wilde, but like, you know, if he was like dating a guy and they were like seen together publicly all the time, and he was like, yeah, I don't need to like, I don't feel the need to like explicitly say yes or no about this question. It's like, well, we see it, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't think anyone should have to like comment on that or say what's going on. But to me, it feels like we've never actually seen him do anything gay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, and so like, it feels weird to me that he continues to say, to like kind of say, well, I don't have to comment on this because I don't know. And like, maybe I'm just like projecting a little because I like do have so much like 2000s gay shame of like, we don't talk about this. But yeah, I don't know. That's like kind of been on my mind, that I feel like there's been this like celebrity push to be like, I'm not going to label myself and nobody should have to. And it's like, well, if it's so not a big deal, then why don't you talk about it? You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to label yourself and you don't have to like come out, but like if it's so not a big deal as you say it is, then like why say, well, we don't have to talk about that. You don't know my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the chat is popping off right now, and I want to like read some of the comments. Ashley
Yeah.
said, yes, saying you don't want to talk about sexuality, but then being very comfortable being openly seen in heterosexual relationships is definitely a contradiction. Mallory says heterosexuality is still sexuality. And yes,
Unfortunately.
and his Better Homes and Garden interview that just came out this week said he wants to be private, but he's only private about potentially queer stuff. And he's open with his friends, but want to keep it private from the world. But he's not keeping it private from the world. So yeah, I think it's also that idea that, you know, we only have to talk about sexuality when it's, you know, strays from the norm of heterosexuality, and like straight people don't have to come out.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, much to ponder. I love this
Yeah,
conversation. I
same.
really love Harry. Like I've been a Harry girl since I was, you know, 2012, and in high school watching One Direction on X Factor. So like she's an OG girly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that again, no one owes us anything, but it's just like keep your story straight, babes. Like what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, no, and I think like you know, I'm thinking about back to the Ariana stuff, like in the break up with your girlfriend music video. I felt like, yeah, there was like a lot of like rage around like she's queer baiting, and it's like, well, maybe she's trying to say something, like without saying explicitly like I am bisexual. And so like I think it's like I worry about the queer baiting conversation sometimes, because it's like, well, we should give people the space to like explore their own sexuality without having to say like, yes, I am this label, which means I can talk about this thing. And I did Cameron Esposito's podcast like a couple months ago, and we had a really interesting conversation that really stuck with me about the Wachowskis. And that like they did the movie Bound, which is like an iconic lesbian sex scene movie, or just an iconic movie. And like if we really, really put harsh limits on people as to like who is allowed to do what and say what and perform what, it's like, maybe we wouldn't have gotten Bound. And like the Wachowskis are trans women, but like at the time we're not out. And so I don't know, like I think it's like a hard line to toe of like, I don't want to say like Ariana Grande, who has so far publicly identified as straight, is not allowed to make a video with queerness in it because of that. It's like, as we all know, and especially as sapphics, like things can change later in life, or like we can grow into ourselves. So yeah, but again, another tangent. But I think with the like, I tend to agree with like everything that's being said in the chat. Is like, I think it's cool to act so chill with sexuality that it's like, it's so not a big deal that I actually don't feel the need to comment on it. But also like, he's been saying this stuff for years and we have never seen anything gay happen. So like, it does start to feel after a certain amount of time like, well, why is there so much secrecy though?
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, I have to think about it more, even because like you've just brought so many incredible points that I haven't thought about. And I think the linking to shame is like making my brain go, oh, let's process that.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're almost done with my questions. Then we're going to move into rapid fire, but you're on Twitter a lot. Elon Musk is buying Twitter. Give me your thoughts. I know that Twitter is a place where you and me and a lot of people find queer community. And I just feel like I feel a little nervy about this, and I want to know your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I personally feel like I have like pulled back a lot from Twitter in the past year or two. Also, like in the book, I talk about the like FBI incident where I'm like, I don't know, ever since that, I'm just like, so much feels like not worth it anymore. I also like recently, I mean, like maybe a couple months ago, tweeted something, literally a side-by-side photo of Hunter Schafer and Cate Blanchett, and said they should play mom and daughter in something. And I don't know like what happened. I actually don't know what the hate was rooted in, but I got like so attacked in the quote tweets being like, fuck you. And I literally was like, that feels like the most basic thought that someone can have, is like, I love these two. I love these two actors. They should play mom and daughter. Like, I just like literally don't know what the hate was about. I was like, do people hate Cate Blanchett? Like, are these Hunter Schafer stands that I don't know. But anyway, so like, I'm just like, so much of the things that I tweet, I feel like I don't want to deal with like a lot of these kinds of interactions, and it like takes the fun out of it. So I feel like I've like kind of stepped back a little bit. The Elon Musk stuff is extremely worrisome. Like I saw some tweets going around about like, that one of the things that he always talks about, what, his whole thing is like wanting to return to free speech, whatever that means. And that like, that is rooted in like, him getting mad that somebody got like banned from Twitter for life for like consistently like saying transphobic stuff about like one trans woman. I like don't know the specifics of this. I don't want to like regurgitate any like false information or anything, but like, I just like, I think that there's a lot I've seen also, like, I know like Them wrote an article about this week. There's definitely like, with him in charge, I think that like there's going to be more like room for like queer hatred, which is scary. I do feel like, I don't know, why not bring back Tumblr or something? I'm like, I feel like we should just leave.
I
I'm
mean,
not glued
also
to it.
Tumblr, like banned porn or something. So like they're like Tumblr's not even a safe space for queers anymore.
I know. I'm like, we
their
need,
rules and regulations are very queer phobic.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, I think something that really bothers me about Twitter is also that like it's like they've tried to do some sort of like safety measures that are kind of like half-assed, where like, you know, you can like turn the comments off if you tweet something, but people can still quote tweet you. And I have gotten spam quote tweeted so hard. So it's like I don't understand why that's a thing. So it's like, if I don't know, I feel like there's like ways that if that were different, we could like protect queer people more. But I like, yeah, it's scary. Like I don't know what it's gonna be like. And
Yeah.
part of me is like, I don't want to find out. Like I like
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I've like walked back a lot of the stuff that I tweet about, like just like personal stuff even. And I just, yeah, I don't know if uh I think I will continue to tweet my like smooth brain gay thoughts. But other than that, like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question of mine. Is
Mhm.
there a reaction or comment from a reader of Girls Can Kiss Now that has stood out to you personally?
Oh, that's a really good question. I, I don't know. I mean, like, it's interesting. I feel like a lot, I feel like I've seen a couple things that are really funny where somebody will like tweet me or message me or something and be like, as a millennial gay Jew from Morris County, New Jersey. And I'm like, what? Like, and they're like, you literally wrote this book about me. And I'm like, that is so crazy that there are people that like in that specific of a niche group that like is responding to it. Those kinds of things like really make me laugh. I feel like that's like been, you know, not like one, this is something I would have to think about a little bit more, but I think like something that has surprised me is like there has been a lot of people who have like felt so specifically and uniquely like seen by it, and that I think has been like heartwarming and surprising because I so much of it did feel so specific, and I was like, there was some stuff even where I just feel like I can't believe my editor or like publisher isn't like, just because of like all of the homophobia stuff that I have heard in the past, like they never tried to be like, can you broaden this? You know, it was
Yeah.
always like, make it as specific and unique as you want. And no one ever said anything about like the stuff I was writing about. Like the lesbian canon chapter, I thought for sure was like going to be like a little too obscure to be like published by
I mean,
like
the more
a subset
personal,
of Simon and Schuster.
yeah, the more personal you get, the broader you actually get. Like the more personal, specific stuff you share, it like paradoxically becomes more relatable, at least in like my experience with reading and with sharing, you know, compulsively online. Oh, Becca said I felt so seen with this.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
so nice. Thank you. I'm glad.
okay, so rapid fire round. And for those
Okay.
of you who are watching with us, we're going to ask Jill community questions. So if you have anything that you want to ask Jill, put it in the chat and we will ask them if we have time at the end. Okay, so rapid fire. What are you currently reading?
What am I currently reading? I like, oh, it's like sitting in front of me. I'm reading, I'll leave it, but I'm reading Sex and Rage by Eve Babbitt because I've never read anything by Eve Babbitt. And I think there was like this weird rush when she passed away where everyone was trying to buy these books and I literally could not find one. And I found it the other day, but I'm literally like 30 pages in, so.
Love it. Yeah, that's a very LA specific one as well.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
What is a book that you recommend everyone read?
I don't know. Okay, the thing is also I'm so bad at like being like on the spot questions.
Okay, you can take all the time you need.
Let me think. I mean,
My answer for this is The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson.
I actually haven't read that. I want to though.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I like The Price of Salt comes to mind.
And I read that one.
Yeah. You know what I like, one of the like most affecting books I've ever read was Women, Race and Class by Angela Davis, and that I feels like is something that like should be required reading. So
that was our nonfiction pick for March. So we had a nice conversation.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that book is amazing, and it's also like so dense, with truly the richest, smartest thoughts I've ever heard, where I would like have to like reread one sentence over and over and be like, okay, yeah, no, yeah.
I'm with yep.
Yeah.
Is there a book coming out soon that you're excited to read?
I'm not sure. I feel like I haven't been I've been so out of it, is like the real answer with like reading and stuff. Like I think over 2020 and 2021 I was reading so much, and then like this year specifically, because of my own book release and just like being busy with capitalism, I have been like just like I have worked so much and I like have not had any time. I'm like, what is coming out that everyone's excited about?
You know what? I don't even have an answer to that.
Okay.
And it would have been I Kiss Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston, which comes out May 3rd. But I got it in the mail and now I'm reading it. So like it's, you know, it's old news.
I do have an answer. Mistakes Were Made by
that's the MILF book.
The MILF book, yeah. By Meryl Wilsner. I loved Meryl's first book so much, and that is literally a book that I have been like stalking online for, I don't know, a year. I really want to convince them to give me an ARC, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I requested that one on NetGalley and they haven't accepted me yet, and I'm just like
devastating.
Very patiently, but it will definitely be in a Sapph-Lit poll if you want to read along with us.
I do.
Okay, favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh man, so many. You know what's funny is like when I was signing books for one of my like events, a lot of people asked me to write my favorite Taylor Swift lyric, which I wrote something different every time because I couldn't pick one. Like there's
so fair.
Like I just was like whatever popped into my head I wrote down because I could not.
Okay, do you have a favorite album then?
I know, even like I love 1989 so much, but I'm also like a big Reputation girl. I think I would say Delicate is my favorite song.
Okay, I love that answer. That's such a good one. Did you take up an unusual quarantine activity besides writing a book?
Yes, I'm like, I think I have it in my desk drawers here, like what is it called, like cross stitching. Like I did a bunch of, yeah, I do have it right here. Well, here's one. This is Ben Affleck carrying his Amazon packages inside. I've like, it's still like, I've never done anything with it. I haven't even like finished.
Oh my God.
I just stitched this manically and then put it in my desk drawer.
So I mean, all of these on my fireplace are done by my mom. My mom also took up embroidery during the pandemic. I need her to make that Ben Affleck one for me now, so that Estella, if you're watching, this request is for you. Okay, that I did not expect that, and I love that so much. If you have it with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Taylor Swift. No.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite class that you took at university?
I did like one semester like abroad. It was in LA because I was in school in New Jersey, and I came here and I took a bunch of like film and TV writing classes. So it's like all of them feel like a blur because it was just like one semester where I got to do all the stuff that I really loved. But I guess like I took a screenwriting class that was so chaotic and so fun, and it was like we had two teachers who ran the program. They were both named Steve and they were married. The Steves, and one of them taught like TV writing and one of them taught screenwriting, like film writing. And
call me by your name.
I know, it's literally it was just like the best experience of my life. But one of the classes with the Steves was a screenwriting class that was like only 3 people, and all 3 of us had like the most insanely different personalities. And so the 3 things that came out of it were like the most insane stories ever. And so bad, but
I mean, a
yeah.
foundation for eventually writing the ladies, I hope.
Yes, yeah, but also like bury that, never resurface it.
Okay, fuck, marry, kill, Julianne Moore, Kate Blanchett, Rachel Weisz.
Okay. This is hurtful. I think Mary. Oh no. No idea.
So I would do personally marry Rachel Weisz,
Mhm.
fuck Kate Blanchett, kill Julianne Moore.
Wow.
Yeah,
See,
I know it's controversial.
to me, like the only thing I feel like I can say for sure is like Julianne Moore seems like wife material. So I would say marry Julianne Moore.
I'm not me. That's just I'm living my truth. Okay. She is wife. I mean, they're all wife material.
Yeah. And it's really like if you ask me this like on any given day, I feel like I could have a different answer. Right now, I feel like I'm really Blanchett era, but like Rachel Weisz is like probably my number one. So I don't know.
This is a really hard question for you.
This is really hard. I think I would have to say fuck Rachel Weisz. I think that's like an opportunity you don't pass on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. So you're killing Kate Blanchett.
I can't say those words out loud.
That's so fair. And Sarah, yes, I am correct. Thank you. All right. Favorite Sapphic movie?
Oh man. You know what? I love Kissing Jessica Stein. I feel like that's one of my favorite, that's like one of my favorite lesbian rom-coms of all time. It's like an old school 90s one, which is I think why I like it so much, because it feels so much like a 90s like classic rom-com, but it's gay. It also has like the worst ending of all time. Yeah.
You mentioned this in the book, right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. This has like an ending where like if you watch it and if you've never seen it, I would truly just stop it at before the last 10 minutes and just pretend it ends there.
Noted. I love that. Favorite Sapphic TV show? I'm assuming Euphoria or
yeah, like currently airing, I guess Euphoria. Yeah.
Favorite Sapphic celebrity?
Lindsay Lohan. I don't know if that counts anymore, but
it counts. It counts.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And last one. Do you have a favorite Sapphic to follow on social media?
So many, but again, suddenly I've never followed a Sapphic on social media.
Suddenly like, you're not on the internet.
Yeah, literally I've never gone online. You know who I love? The account on Instagram, Bet Porter Gallery. They post like lesbian gossip. Yes. So good.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. So we are now doing the community questions. We have 12 minutes left. So remember to get your questions in the chat. But first, I'm going to read a few from Geneva that we've collected ahead of time. Okay. So Anna asks, would love to know how she found her balance of humor and sincerity, especially with the Supercut of Lesbian Yearning chapter, where so much of what is happening is heartbreaking. She definitely incorporated her humor. How did she decide when it was best to hold back on the jokes or go full steam ahead?
That's a great question. I feel like, everything in life is both really heartbreakingly sad and funny at the same time to me, and like that's something like all of my favorite movies are that way, like just like really funny and really sad. And I think it just feels kind of natural for me to like when like the tone calls for it, like in the chapter I wrote about like sexual assault, it's like some of those moments were really heavy and really serious, and I could feel myself at the end of them feeling like I needed a like release of like, okay, Dua Lipa joke or whatever, and like, but like I think like you can feel when it's like appropriate and when it's not. And for like the Supercut of Lesbian Yearning chapter, I feel like those were like really hard real moments in my life, and so I kind of just wrote them as they were. And it's also, I think it takes a lot of time, but it's also easy to look back and see like the humor in some of it. So I think it's like it's like not a great answer, but it's like feeling it out.
Oh, I love that answer. It's, it's a gut check. It's trusting your intuition. All
Yeah.
right. And then Mallory asks, do you have any writing advice?
Writing advice? Wow, what kind of writing? Writing advice is so funny to me because I feel like I've never given or received good writing advice because it's so different for everyone.
Yeah.
And like, I think the only thing I've ever found super helpful, genuinely, is to not to not obsess so much that you don't write anything down, to just like write down all the stuff, even if it's like bad half thoughts and whatever, because it is so much infinitely easier to go back and edit and revise and add
Yeah.
than to stare at the blank page and obsess. So like for me, I think like, and I did this with so many of these chapters, is being like, oh my God, I really don't want to write about my most heartbreaking moment today. And I would just like write down a bunch of, stuff. And then it was so much easier next time to go back and be like, okay, well, I'll elaborate on this. Like,
Yeah. I mean, every first draft is a shitty first draft. And that's, what I've learned over the years, like creative writing wise.
yeah,
I love that answer.
yeah.
I'm going to the chat. Let's see. Haley asks, have you had any surprising reactions from people mentioned in the book?
Oh, like real life people. You know what I think is the most surprising was I I was so nervous to talk to my parents about the chapter where my cat is about to get into this Zoom. Okay. The chapter, yeah, this is Uma. She's also like, she's so nasty. She's being nice now, but the chapter where I talk about being addicted to porn at age 11, I was like so nervous to hear what they had to say about that, and they were like, I don't remember that, and I was like, what? This is literally like affected my relationship to sex for the rest of my life. You don't even remember? Okay. Anyway, so I thought that was probably the most surprising. Honestly, I feel that the best could be yet to come. I haven't talked to a lot of people that I wrote about. So yeah.
Okay, Kelly wants to know your thoughts on Euphoria.
I love it. It's like, I think that it's the reason I love Euphoria so much is that I feel like, even though, I think personally, like, I don't need a queer character to be like a role model for the next generation of queer people. I just need them to feel like a real person. And, like, I think a lot about like the Jules and Rues of the world versus like the Che Diaz's. And, like Rue and Jules, like, you don't have to root for them to work out as a couple. Like, they're clearly like have some toxic stuff going on. And like Rue has been like truly almost villainous at times. But still, I feel like they just feel like real, flawed, whole people. Yeah. So I think that's why I feel really connected to Euphoria, because even though I am not a teen, and like almost none of what goes on in that show is something I personally have experienced, but it's still kind of like fun and engaging and sad and feels real.
Yeah, I love that answer. And I talked about this with Detransition Baby when we read that as a club, like having queer rep where queer people aren't perfect is so important. People are always like, oh, why are you like villainizing queer people? Well, let us be villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that answer.
Totally.
Ashley asks, and I think I already know the answer to this one, Carly Kloss or Diana Agron?
Oh my God, lol. Diana Agron. Is that what you thought, or no?
I thought you were gonna say Carly because you're a Kaler girly.
Well, okay, I am a Kaler girly, but mostly because I really feel it on Taylor's side of things. I see it for her.
Yes.
But Carly Kloss as a person, I feel like she's kind of a flop. She's like married to a really evil person, and she's boring. Yeah, and Diana Agron is nothing but great and charming and has great work. So
Harley for Taylor, Diana for herself.
Yeah, as a person. Yeah.
Love. My favorite tweet of all time still to this day is the side by side of Carly looking Camp right in the eye and then her outfit. Like, I will never forget that. That is flop to the max.
That's the thing, is like, she's like, there's not a lot going on there, you know? Diana is like cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Shelby has a two-part question.
Okay.
A favorite book to screen adaptation and a book that you want to see adapted to the screen.
Great question. You know, one of the things I would have said to that is Conversations with Friends, which is coming out soon on Hulu. But like, based on the trailer, I'm kind of like, this is not the adaptation that I expected or was hoping for. Like, I don't know. So I would have said that, but now I'm like, I haven't seen it, so I don't want to judge too soon. But what about the Meryl Wilsner book we were just talking about? What is the first one called? Well, that, yeah, but the other one, why can't I think of Something to Talk About?
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
I would watch.
I love that.
Yeah. And then what favorite that I have seen?
Yes.
I don't know, because I feel like I sometimes I'll like really like a movie and then I'll go back and read the book. So I'd say not that much even like comes to mind. I did watch Dune recently and I was like, holy shit, this is like Dune fucks, and I didn't expect to like connect with Dune, but I fucking loved Dune. That's like not a good answer or a gay answer.
And I was gonna watch it on the plane last week, but I was like, I can't watch it on a tiny screen. Like, that's stupid.
No, you can't.
Yeah, okay. I will hopefully expect Dune to fuck now when I watch it. Okay, Allison asks you, do you have a favorite Sapphic song?
Oh, so many. I love the Aces right now. So many of their songs, like I think almost all of them are queer, and so many of their songs are super gay. Like
I love these.
I love their song Volcanic Love. You know what's a song that I feel like I love lately that's really sapphic is Boyfriend by Dove Cameron. That one is hot.
Yeah. I mean, Dove Cameron is hot.
Yeah.
Really hot. Okay, love. All right, we have one more. Favorite Orange is the New Black character or moment?
What, again, so many.
I love that show so much.
I loved it so much. I mean, like, I loved Alex Voss, like, so I like have never felt more attracted to anything in my life. Favorite moment, I honestly like like every sex scene between them, but also like the ending, like, I thought was so cute. I literally burst into tears at the end. That like phone call, or not phone call, but her and Piper like sitting across from each other and they're like crying and they're happy. I burst into tears.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, but that's all our questions. Jill, thank you so much. This was such a fun conversation and I so enjoyed having you. So thank you.
No, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure. Honestly, perfect Saturday morning, no notes. I'm really grateful for everyone that read my book and like even had a question. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
We love it. Well, we are going to be discussing Girls Can Kiss Now next week over Zoom. So more to come there. We'll update you on Instagram and post this recording later today. So yeah, thank you so much. And everyone have a wonderful Saturday.
Yay. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.